Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about Dark Magician. The new Dark Magician structure deck just came out, Vortex of Magic, and I wanted to see how well I could do with just 3 structure decks and no other cards. So I took the 3 structure decks, I put them together in this list, and in all honesty, I probably could have done a little bit better. So let's quickly go over the card by card and explain what the deck is that I am trying to make, and more so, what it is that we're actually trying to do. As you can see, there's a lot of one-ofs, and that is, well, mostly due to the fact that there aren't really a whole lot of good cards in here. So I threw in like a whole bunch of like high roll cards. So let's talk about the 3-ofs that we're playing. I'm playing 3 Dark Magician. I know everyone says play 2, but in this deck it really helps to play 3 because you really do want to see it in your hand or on the in your graveyard. And since you have less access to Magician's Souls due to not having better access to Illusion of Chaos as well as other such things, it's nice to have the 3rd one. And it came up once where it was necessary for me to have the 3rd, so there's that. Moving on, we have the Triple Magician Souls. Everyone knows this card, or at least should. Absolutely crazy. It's a draw 2, it's a free special summon, you send the Dark Magician as well. Very good. We have the Triple Magician's Rod. On normal, you search a card. It's very nice. We have the Triple Illusion of Chaos to search out additional cards. And then we have Triple Magic Circle. This card is very nice in this build and in most like more pure variants of Dark Magician because of the fact that it allows you to add a card to your hand most of the time, as well as giving you actual interaction. Most of the time, I should say most builds that aren't relying on this card rely on other such floodgates like, well, I shouldn't say floodgates as much as it's like they're relying on the recursion of Eternal Soul as well as like rank monsters and a few floodgates here or there in order to actually utilize anything, right? But without access to that, this is basically your only form of interaction. So there's that. I guess technically you also have like Dark Burning Attack, which is very specific, or like, no, that's it. So I guess Destined Rivals as well. But we'll talk about those later. Then of course we have the Triple Soul Servant. This card is very nice, just gets you everything that you need. If you see it with something like a Magician's Souls, it's very nice. It's a free +1 of whatever card. Basically, you just search out a card, more or less. So very solid. Even if you have something like a Dark Magician already on your side of the field, this is a just incredible card. And then of course we have the maxed out extra deck, just 3 of everything. I never summon this, I never summon this, I never summon this, and I never summon this. Why? Because they're terrible. But I did summon this one multiple times. Did you know that its floating effect is not once per turn? Meaning, if your opponent destroys your field, and then destroys it again, and you have the ability to fusion summon into this guy, again, somehow, or like you fusion summon off these 2 monsters that you summoned off of this guy, you can then destroy it, and then bring them back. And then do it again. It's great. Yeah, that did come up, and you'll see that replay. Next up, we have the rest of the cards. We're going to start with the 2-ofs. We have 2 Timaeus. This card is an additional fusion summon. It's a dragon for the Dark Magician of Dragon Knight, as well as the Dark Magician Girl of Dragon Knight. Both of these cards are pretty mid, but this card overall is just a nice body. 2800 allows you to fusion summon, just big. There you go, pretty nice. We are also playing the one of Illusion, Dark Illusion, Magician of Dark Illusion. This card, honestly, I would probably bump up and cut things like, I don't know, Destined Rivals and Piercing the Light and Thousand Knives and stuff like that. Magical Lens Fusion. But yeah. You could also cut the Magic Karibo. I'm playing it because it's funny. We'll talk about him in a second. We're also playing it 2 Magician's Salvation. This can be searched off of the Magician's Rod. It's kind of useless by itself. Its only real use is to get the Eternal Soul on the field because the other effect is basically useless. As I said, we have the 2 Eternal Soul. You want to see it, but not that much, and you have other ways of seeing it through Magician's Rod, through Salvation, and then this itself, as well as we have Navigation, which is also very nice, so there's that. So yeah, we have the 2 Navigation as well. And then, of course, we have the 2 Secrets. Secrets is a fusion summon spell. You could also technically ritual summon, but it's terrible, so we're not doing that. Next up, we have all of the 1-ofs. We have the 1 Magic Karibo. This card is funny. That's the only reason we're playing it. We're playing the 1 Magician's Rod. This card can come up occasionally. If you have an additional spell trap in your hand, and you can summon it off of, like, Navigation, it's pretty nice to have. But most of the time, you're just going to summon the Magician of Dark Illusion, because if you go Navigation, trigger the circle to then activate the Magician of Dark Illusion to special summon another one from the graveyard, which is pretty nice, or another Dark Magician from the graveyard, which is pretty nice. But yeah, that's a kind of a high roll thing. However, this card is very nice just due to the fact that it gets another body onto your field, which could potentially save you if you need to. So I think having multiple of this would be better than having, like, the Magic Karibo, or heck, even the Magician's Rod. I wouldn't say play 3 of this because it is a bit of a brick, but it was nice to have alongside some of these other ones. So, maybe 2. We have the 1,000 Knives. Honestly, this card could be cut. It's nice, though, being able to just, like, target a monster and destroy it. But the problem is that you could also just play Bond between teacher and student, which would allow you access to the Dark Magician Girl, and then you could also get this one, which could then wipe your opponent's entire field. So, I don't know. It kind of depends. These kind of do not enough. Dark Magic Attack, however, is very nice. Just Harpy's Feather Duster if you control Dark Magician. It's great. You search it off of this as well. That's another reason to play 1,000 Knives. Maybe you could search it off of the Eternal Soul. So there's that. We have Dark Burning Attack, which destroys all face-up monsters your opponent controls if you control Dark Magician Girl. This is a funny card, more so than anything. We also have 1 Magical Eyes Fusion. Honestly, this card could be cut. It wasn't great, but it did come up once where I was able to go into the Dark Magicians and then be able to float using the Dark Magicians. So there's that. We have 1 Piercing the Light. This card's, again, okay. If you special summon a normal monster, you draw a card, which is okay. And then if an attack is declared involving an opponent's monster and a monster you control that is level 5 or higher, normal monster or ritual summon monster or fusion or synchro or exceed that use a normal monster, you can then make the attack. You can make that monster you control gain attack equal to that opponent's monster's attack until the end of this turn. So basically, you just boost one of your monsters that used Dark Magician by the attack of the opponent's monster. It's not great. It's just not really worth it. Drawing a card's okay. That's mostly what it's used for. But yeah, it's kind of a brick. Dark Burning Attack is to summon off of the bond between teacher and student, and honestly, I'd play more of this. This card was actually pretty decent, being able to get me a whole bunch of other cards as well. So, yeah, just absolute blowout card. And then we have 1 Destined Rivals. Honestly, this card could be cut. It's nice, you negate things, but it's not really that useful. I would say it's not searchable, but it is. It's just not really that useful. Like, negating effects is nice, to be fair, but you kind of need a little bit more than just this. So your hand has to be, like, just right in order to for this to also work. But who knows? Maybe if I had seen it more, it would have been a little bit more useful. But it's kind of hard to say. There's a whole bunch of, like, random one-of cards that are, like, okay, but you kind of have to see all of them, which makes it a little bit more problematic. So there's that. Anyway, let's hop into the duels and show you how this deck performs. Alright, so here we are going second, and we honestly don't really have the greatest of going second. Well, I mean, if my opponent just sets 1 and passes, maybe we can do this. We draw the Magical Eyes Fusion for turn, and, well, Illusion of Chaos is going to get negated. That's fine. We have the Magician Souls anyway. We're going to start off by activating Magician Salvation in order to actually use its effect. Then we can go for the Magician Souls. Outcomes Cockroach, because of course they have it. But that's fine. We're going to special summon out our token, or our Magician Souls, then activate the Soul Servant to stack our deck, and then we will activate our Magician Souls in order to pitch a card and draw the Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod is then going to add the Circle, and then we're going to activate the Circle effect in order to add the 1,000 Knives. We're then going to activate our Soul Servant in order to grab up nothing, because our opponent banishes our monster. Well, we actually really needed that, so hopefully they don't really have anything. Yeah, not a whole lot that I can do there. We still have the Illusion of Chaos, so there is a chance. My opponent is going to normal summon an Arrow Mage and then summon Dryas. Activate the effect to gain 500 and pass. Alright, fair enough. We're going to draw into a Soul Servant. That's actually really good. We're going to go Illusion of Chaos. Again, they will Ash Blossom because of course they have it. That's fine. We're going to pitch 2 to draw cards, and we are actually going to stack our deck first with the Soul Servant. We're going to stack the Magician Souls because I need in rotation a Dark Magician, and it's better to send it to the graveyard with a Magician Souls to get another body onto our field than to do anything else. Out comes Droll and Lockbird because, of course, all that they have is a bunch of hand traps. Now, the Droll and Lockbird doesn't actually do anything, but that's fine. We're going to then special summon out our Dark Magician and banish their monster and proceed to battle. We're going to attack in for a bit of damage and then just kind of pass the turn. I don't really have anything else that I can do. Oh, sorry. No, I do actually Tribute Summon the Illusion, the Magician of Dark Illusion here, because it allows us to get the Dark Magician back into the grave so that we can special summon it off of the Eternal Soul, since we didn't really have access to that previously, which gives us the interaction that we may need. So there you go. It also would allow us to potentially special summon if, like, I don't know, there isn't really anything. They surrender, realizing that the game is over, and yeah, good game. Alright, and here we are going first this time, and hey look, Illusion of Chaos. So we're going to obviously start off with the Illusion of Chaos and grab up our Magician Souls. I put back the Illusion of Chaos. I don't know if that's necessarily the right choice, but I do it in this case. We're going to dump the Dark Magician and then draw 2, pitching ourselves the Dark Burning attack as well as Eternal Soul. And I kind of draw very poorly, so there's that. I'm going to go for the Magical Eyes Fusion here, and we're going to Fusion Summon into our Dark Magicians. Woo. We're going to set to 2 and pass. There's not a whole lot more that I can do there, so I just pass the turn. But yeah, there you go. Out comes Raigeki. Well, I mean, this triggers Dark Magicians. Dark Magicians is going to summon a Dark Magician and a Dark Magician girl. This will then... Wait, what? Oh, Ra's Disciple. Okay, yeah. Out comes Ra's Disciple. And add a Winged Dragon of Ra to their hand. Uh-oh. I'm going to be punched for a whole bunch of damage. So they're going to Tribute Summon, and then they're going to pay 7,900 attack. Or, 7,900 life points in order to boost up their guy. Now, this is lethal. However, I do have Secrets of the Dark Magic, which allow me to Fusion Summon. So I'm going to quickly Fusion Summon into the Dark Magicians. And yes, it is not once per turn the floating effect. So this allows me to then Special Summon out the 2 monsters. Once again, we're going to summon from the deck as well as summon the Dark Magician girl. We're only playing the one, so of course we just summon the one that we have. I draw Piercing the Light, not really that great, but we do have Dark Burning Attack, which is hilarious because now we can deal with the Winged Dragon of Ra. We're then going to activate Piercing the Light. They are going to flip the Threatening Roar, and I'm like, okay, I can't really do anything about that. I guess we don't kill them this turn, but we will get to draw a card. We draw into the Magician's Salvation, which literally doesn't do anything, so I'm just going to pass. They're going to set a card, and I'm like, okay, that better not be another Threatening Roar. If it is, I lose. Not really, but like it's really frustrating. And then I draw a Dark Magic Circle. I searched off the Eternal Soul, the Dark Magic attack, and they had Defense Draw, so it was actually really good that we were able to do that. Then I actually continue playing the game here because I'm worried, just given what I've seen thus far, I'm like, there is a chance that they have a Battle Fader, so at the very least I want to kind of like do something prior to going to battle, because they could have something in order to, you know, interact with me. They didn't, but I was like, you know, maybe I'll get a little bit of something. You know, maybe they special something that I can't really deal with, and then getting the Dark Magician into the grave would allow me to then special summon it back, so I could actually banish whatever they have. So there you go. All right, and here we are once again going first, and we drew the Magician Souls as well as Magic Karibo. Yay! So we're gonna go start off with the Dark Magical Circle to grab up our Dark Magic or our Dark Magician. We're then going to dump the Dark Magician and activate the effect of the Magician Souls, and draw into a second Magician Souls because I forgot that the order that I had stacked the deck was no longer the same because I am stupid and didn't activate Souls first, and instead activated Circle first. That's my mistake. Don't make that same mistake. Activate the Souls first so that you can then stack the deck and then draw into what you need. I did it the other way because I'm stupid. I don't know. I kind of wanted to see what I would draw. But out comes Necro Valley and Royal Tribute. Sick. Anyway, we're going to special summon out the Dark Magician and the Dark Illusion... The Magician of Dark Illusion. We're then going to trigger the Dark Magical Circle in order to banish their Necro Valley, and then activate our Magician of Dark Illusion in order to special summon out the Dark Magician. Of course, they also had no cards, or no monsters in hand for their Royal Tribute, because why would they? Anyway, they grab up the Commandant here in order to grab up the second Necro Valley, so they're going to go and do that. Cool, nothing I can do about that. Fun. Anyway, Necro Valley comes out. They're going to set to 2, and of course they had the Card of Demise as well. They're going to go Harpy's Feather Duster because, I don't know, it's funny. Then they are going to add the Necro Valley Throne to grab up the Heretic, and then set the Heretic. Alright, fair enough. So, I draw for turn the Secrets of Dark Magic, and I'm just going to go to battle. Out comes Dogmatic Punishment, and... Huh? Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. Alright, fair enough. Anyway, I activate Magic Karibo. It's not going to do anything. I'm just activating it because it's funny. And then we are going to Fusion Summon. Now, notably, we can actually Fusion Summon using the Magician of Dark Illusion because it becomes a Dark Magician on the field. So we can keep a Dark Magician in the grave as well as on the field if we need to. Not really necessary, but out comes Dark Magicians. We're going to punch for another 28, which puts them on a 1-turn clock. That's why we did that. I don't know what those 2-set cards are, and they set a third right here. And I'm going to tell you right now, doesn't matter. They don't do anything. I'm just going to go to battle and attack for lethal. Don't know what they were doing, but alas, there you go. I think these set cards were probably something like a Judgment or a Strike or something like that. Not entirely sure, but I didn't really activate any effects. So it could have been a Strike, could have been something else. Who knows? Alright, here we are once again going first. However, this time my opponent chose for me to go first. Don't know why this is the case, and I'm now a little bit worried. So we're going to dump the, of course they have the cockroach, we're going to dump the Dark Magician in order to grab up ourselves the the Magician Souls, then we're going to activate our Soul Servant in order to grab up ourselves the Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod is going to then search out the Dark Magical Circle, we're going to activate it in order to search out the Dark Magician. I'm then going to activate the effect of my Magician's Souls, because I know the next card that we are drawing is the Illusion of Chaos, and I think this was a bit of a mistake. Realistically, I think it would have been better to keep the Secrets of the Dark Magician as a way to grab up the Dark Magicians so that we could float into something as well. But alas, I decided to go for this and then go into Timaeus just so that we have that for follow-up. We're then going to set a card and pass. Alright, and it's Dragoonity. Not something I would have expected, but Dragoonity going second is a really annoying deck. Going first, I think it's fine. They kind of do like Dragon Link stuff. But going second, it's very obnoxious. Their monsters are really annoying to deal with because they have a lot of floating effects, as well as on top of that, they just like constantly banish your entire field and then just punch you really hard, and it's not fun. So there you go. Out comes Dragon Ravine. I'm not going to interact with this because Dragon Ravine is not a hard once per turn. And then they pitch Dark Ruler, and I go, oh, okay. Anyway, out comes their Legatus, out comes their Remus, and then they are going to Synchro Summon into Gaydirge. Gaydirge is going to then, as soon as Gaydirge activates, we are going to go for our own activation of, as soon as it's summoned, we're going to go for Eternal Soul in order to special summon a Dark Magician. Now, granted, they see the Dark Magician in the grave, and they called by it because they're like, okay, I can't let this go through. If this guy gets banished, it's probably the end of the turn. But they also know that I have the Dark Magician because I added it off of Circle. So, a little bit of a misplay, but that's fine. We're then going to special summon out our other guy as well, and they are going to tribute Winged Dragon of Ra. And then pass. They hadn't used their normal up until this point, so they just decided, you know what, I will use my normal now and prevent myself from actually playing the game any further. So there you go. Don't know what they have in hand, doesn't matter, we draw the Illusion of Chaos. I think I stacked this as well, so that's fine. We're then going to draw into the Magician's Rod, or search out the Magician's Rod, activate the effect, and in order to grab up ourselves the bond between teacher and student to summon out our Dark Magician Girl, and set a Dark Burning attack. We're then going to special summon, search out the Dark Magic attack, because I don't actually have a Dark Magician in the graveyard anymore, because I'm dumb. This allows me to special summon Timaeus, which now is lethal. So I'm going to attack with everything, and we get to see the special animation. Ba-boom. Away goes the opponent. Good game. So we're back with the deck, and in all honesty, I've already talked about the new support from the structure deck for Dark Magician. Illusion of Chaos is great. It's a fantastic inclusion and does so much for the deck. As for the rest of the cards, Timaeus is nice, but like not that big of a deal. And I think a big issue that this deck in particular has is that it doesn't really have a lot of interaction. Basically, your interaction is singular banish, and that's it. If you're wondering, all of my games were played in gold, and it definitely shows. I don't think I could have played against anything that was even remotely meta with this deck. Whereas some of the other structure decks had that capability. The Dragon Maid one, the Salamangreat one, heck, even the Zombie one, if it had a good turn, definitely could. This one, not so much. Even on a good turn, the most that you're ending on is maybe Dark Burning Magic and maybe a Banish. Which is actually pretty decent, all things considered, if you're able to land a good Dark Burning attack. But if it's telegraphed, it's kind of bad. And the biggest problem, if a single card interacts with Eternal Soul, you die. You just lose, you cannot play the game, do not pass go, do not collect $200. It's just game over. So, not exactly the greatest. However, I still really enjoy this deck. I find it very fun to play. I think the style of the deck is very interesting, but I would definitely suggest adding in like hand traps or other such cards that allow you to actually interact or slow down your opponent. Secret Village of the Spellcaster, Terraforming, Maxi, Ash Blossom, Skill Drain, stuff like that. Just something to help. But alas, here we are. Overall, I think that this is a fine structure deck. It's hard to really say if it is worth the purchase. I mean, if you're playing something that is going to utilize Magician's Souls and Illusion of Chaos, then yes. If you are not, then no. It's really not. It's that simple. And not every deck utilizes this, so there you go. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.